Hey guys, in this video we will be making this animation using only Procreate. I made this character in the previous video, you can find it in the description below. I also included the link where you can download the sketch of the drawing and the color palette I was using for free. But you can also use any character of yours to do this. The animation is made of 15 frames total. The first 10 frames is where the snow is falling down. On the 5th, 6th, 7th frame is where the face expression changes, and on the 8th, 9th and 10th the movement of the head and hands. The last 5 frames are for the eyes where he is looking around. So let's start by creating a new canvas. I'm simply going to choose my screen size for this. As you can see, this is the drawing I made in the previous video for this animation I'm going to make now. I'm turning off the background layer and turn off the background color so we can export just the bear on a transparent background. Copy the canvas. And in the new file, swiping 3 fingers down to paste it. I'm going to turn Animation Assist on, which gives us this animation panel on the bottom. For now, let's turn the bear drawing as a background by tapping on it in this panel and selecting it. Adding a new frame and we can start drawing the falling snow in. As I showed before, it's going to be on 10 frames. So on the first frame the snow is starting to show. I'm using this blue to draw in the lines and then filling in with white on each frame. And I'm going to move it a little bit to the middle. Next frame. By going on the settings, you can choose the opacity of the previous and next frames from the one you currently have selected. These are called onion skins, and you can also choose the color you want for them and choose how many frames you want to be shown on the screen at the same time. So everything that's orange is going to be our previously drawn frames, and with the help of them we can map out where will the snow drop next. As I'm following along with this big chunk of snow, I'm also adding a few parts that split off of it. Repeat the same thing on the third frame. The next 10 frames we are focusing only on the snow, and I'm using the body as a background to guide me as the snow flows down over it. I am also paying attention that I don't draw any snow over the face until the 7th frame, so that we can still see and draw in some facial expressions while this is happening, but we will be doing that when the snow is complete. Going down over the body, the snow is spreading and I keep adding some parts that split off. On the 8th frame, I'm leaving the hat and ears showing on the side so I can make the hat visible as it falls off. And on the 9th frame, I'm covering it up with snow. Finally the 10th frame, and this is where the movement stops. And this is what we have so far. Let's move to the face expression next. Going to duplicate the bear 9 times to get a total of 10 frames, one below each snow layer. We can't leave it as a background because we also want to add movements to the body and head. I'm going to rename the 5th bear frame. This is where we want to change his eyes. And renaming the 6th and 7th layer to mouth. The frames we are going to make changes to the mouth. It's good to stay organized so you don't get lost in all these frames. Well, I'm not doing the best job of this, but I'm trying to. Let's start with the fifth frame where the face expression changes. I'm making a clipping mask over this layer so I can hide the eyes and mouth by just painting over it with the fur colors. As you can see, everything is underneath, just not visible, but by lowering the opacity it helps me to see where the eyes come when they are closed. And I'm going to draw them on a new layer above the layer we used to hide the previous face. I'm going for the struggling look, so I'm going to add these lines on around the eyes to make him look like he's really pressing his eyelids down. Now, the same way we made the eyes, we are going to paint over the mouth to hide it and then draw it in the new one on the layer above. By grouping all these layers together, they will show only as one whole frame on the animation, so layers grouped together count as one frame, which is very helpful for editing. Now turning the opacity back up, and I'm also going to fix the shadows a little bit around the mouth. Now that that is done, I'm going to reuse the mask we used to hide the face by duplicating it and placing it above the sixth frame, the frame we are going to work on next. Also duplicating the eyes, because it's going to be the same on that layer as well. We are going to redraw the mouth and we are going for a struggling look, like he's squeezing his teeth. So just make a new layer above and draw it in. Now you see that we are saving a lot of time by doing it like this, because we don't have to redraw everything and then color it frame by frame, and really anyone can do this. grouping this frame together as well, and I moved the snow to the previous frame because I left it out from the group. And now we can duplicate these layers again and use them for the next frame. Group the 7th layer together and the face expression is done. I'm going to rename these groups to 5, 6 and 7 so we don't get lost. Next up, making the head drop off his head, I'm selecting the 8 bear frame and I'm going to cut the head out using the freehand selection tool and going to bend it over to the right by rotating it. You can easily get lost in what is what, so I'm going to turn off each layer and leave only the ones I'm working on visible. And I will turn off the animation assist for now, so the app behaves just like when we are drawing in it. That way I have more control what I want to see. I'm redrawing the parts I lost when I cut off the bear's head on the bear layer. Turn these layers off now and I will make visible only the next layers I want to work on. I end up turning the previous bear layer where we started moving the hat on, so I have a guide how the hat is moving frame by frame. And then again with the freehand selection tool going to rotate the hat even further down, and I don't need to worry about redrawing anything because the snow is hiding the rest of the body. Now one extra thing we need to do is selecting the bear layer and erasing some of the snow so that the hat is visible like it's in front of it. I'm going to do this on each frame here and group them together. Lowering the opacity of the previous frame to use as a guide like before. And repeat the same thing with selection tool to move the hat and remove the snow around the hat on the snow layer. Then redraw the missing parts back. I decided I want a bit more snow below the ears, so I'm going to add that in. Next up, adding some movement to the hand, same as with the head with the moving tool. And draw in the missing parts of the hand. That's it, we can turn all our layers back on, turn animation assist on, and we will merge the snow layers with the bear so we get them on the same frame. Make sure you check each frame how it looks before merging. As you can see here in the group for frame 5, the snow layer was set to clipping mask, and by merging it like this we would lose the snow coming from the top. I'm not going to merge the group layers yet in case I want to change something, so I'll just leave it like this. And this is what we have so far. You can adjust the speed of the animation with the frames per second scale. I got to do the ending with the eyes. For that I'm going to duplicate the 10th frame 5 times and rename them to 11, so we see with which frames we are working with. As you can see, our bear got a bit drunk here, so we can't use him as a guide to draw the eyes. So we could just copy the face of one of the previous frames we didn't mess up. Like this, and now you could use this layer as a guide to draw on top. But as I mentioned before, the previous video where I drew the bear, I left the eyes on separate layer for this reason, and we can simply copy it without the iris and place it in our animation. This will save us a lot of time again from redrawing and recoloring it 5 times. So I can copy it from here. And just paste it in your animation canvas. Duplicate it 5 times and place them on top in the groups. I'm going to do the same thing with the iris and just duplicate it and move it to the direction I want the bear to look on the frames. On the frames where he's looking at us, I don't have to move the iris at all. Let's see. Now the animation is going too fast, so I want the part with the eyes slow down. You can do this in the animation panel by selecting the right frames. So I'm selecting the 10th frame for start, tapping on it, and on hold duration I will make it hold for 10 frames. Then I will do the same with the rest of the frames, somewhere a bit shorter holds. This is how it looks now. Now to finish it up, I'm going to go back to the earlier drawing and copy the background. Paste it back to the animation file and set it to background. And our little animation is done. You can find the video of the bear drawing in the description, and you can also download the sketch of the bear and the color palette I used there. But I suggest you try this out on one of your own characters, cause that would be a lot more fun. And if you do, please share it with me on my Instagram in the description below. It would be awesome to see it. Okay then, as always, thanks for watching. Share some love by liking, commenting, subbing to the channel, and see you in the next one. Bye!